And these are the best and the finest. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
I don't even call them protesters. I call them disruptors. A lot of them come from Bernie Sanders, whether he wants to say it or not. And if he says no, then he's lying. Bernie Sanders, they have Sanders signs all over the place, and they're made by the same people that make the regular Bernie Sanders signs. They're professionally made. And we have great rallies.
Okay, a lot of people were just called out. You think they would respond and prove Trump wrong by, you know, waving the American flag, proving they are as American as anybody else, peacefully protesting and having a peaceful discussion, right?
You didn't say anything to anybody? You were just walking out, or what?
I was walking out with a Trump sign. He grabbed my Trump sign and started following me. And I was like a racist.
Well, there went all my optimistic hopes that everybody would have a nice, peaceful, polite discussion and maybe, you know, come to a better understanding. Wishful thinking? Okay, me and my co-host here, we're having headaches here. It's just an all too commonly known thing now about Trump rallies, about the violence happening and emanating from those events.
And we only have like one or two tiny isolated incidents of violence at Trump rallies done by Trump supporters. But what we do have is a wealth of violence at Trump rallies from Trump opponents.
Yeah, so I don't understand it. I don't understand the logic of why they're doing this. Like, Trump calls you savages and criminals, per se. I know he didn't say savage, but he said basically criminals.
Criminals and rapists.
Rapists. And, yeah, they call you all that. And how do you prove them wrong?
By being criminals.
Yeah,
by rioting.
Yeah, and it's just...
He talks about not assimilating. So you wave a Mexican flag and burn the American flag.
Yeah, it's just... are they trying to get Trump elected? Are they trying to... They basically helped him get nominated.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just...
Not that particular instance, because that was after he became the presumptive nominee with the Mexican flags and stuff. But...
Yeah.
But the anti-Trump rhetoric is as bad, if not worse, than Trump rhetoric.
Yeah, I mean, you're just going to embolden his support base. You know, Trump's going to say, oh my gosh, these people are going to be criminals, they're going to assault you, they're going to hurt you, and lo and behold, that's what's happening. That's going to embolden them to go and support Trump even more.
Like, yeah, I mean, I'm all for opposing somebody, but what's interesting is a lot of these liberals, when one guy gets punched at a Trump rally by some crazy dude at a Trump rally, weeks of coverage about how this is savage and how it's the wrong direction for the political spectrum to be going. And now we have liberal authors out there saying that violence is a perfectly acceptable reaction to Trump.
Yeah, like what? Are we in the Twilight Zone? This is 2016.
No, we're in the hypocrisy zone.
All right. I thought witch hunts were over with. What happened to debates? What happened to discussions? Instead of now it's like the first option is to sucker punch someone in the back of the head if you disagree with them.
Safe space.
Yeah, what? Yeah.
I don't want to hear this, Brian.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I was implying I was building up to safe spaces, but. Yeah.
No, but seriously, there is such a thing as polite discourse that's just missing, and admittedly it's come from both sides, but I think the greater side to blame here is the left.
Yeah, it's like they're calling Trump and his supporters a bunch of Nazis. They're acting like Nazis.
Yeah, the brown shirts, yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Or as you so geniusly called them, the blue guard.
the blue guards. Yeah, they remind me of Chinese Red Guards in communist China. It's just the parallel is so apparent. I'm sorry. It just shocks me when I see this. I'm like, this cannot be happening now. It's 2016. This is the United States. This can't happen here.
And sadly, I think, when you say it's 2016, the sad fact of history is they do that what is this, the 3rd century? Well, in the 3rd century, they were saying, what is this, the 1st century? Every civilization thinks it's the most civilized out there, but atrocities can happen at any point, which is why we have to be on guard against them. Now, the thing is, typically, the violence we're seeing at these rallies is coming from the left.
Yeah, and obviously they control most of the media, so it's not even shown. And if it is shown, like on Facebook, it's like getting like applause and claps and cheers
justified.
And jeers. It's just
Not jeers.
well, not jeers.
Not jeers.
Sorry.
That's okay. But yeah. Well, some jeers.
Yeah, some jeers from our side,
Yeah.
or maybe from people who are reasonable.
In the comment section.
Yeah.
Oh, well, most comment sections aren't reasonable, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, trolls. But it's just baffling.
Yeah, it's actually, I view Donald Trump as a troll. In the political spectrum, he is somewhat of a troll, but the irony is their reaction is exactly what a troll would want.
Yeah.
So instead of disproving Donald Trump by standing proudly and solemnly, like Gandhi or Martin Luther King, you're instead proving his point.
Yeah, like, if I were these people, and Trump said those things about me, I would have a way different approach. I'd be proudly displaying the American flag.
That's your privilege talking.
Yeah, that's my privilege. Sorry, I'm gonna be punched for that later. If he's gonna take me to the Blue Guard prison.
Yep, they'll flog you 30 times.
Yeah, but I would do that with silently. I'd make my case saying I was American as anybody else. But no, I'm gonna burn the American flag and I'm gonna wave foreign flags and I'm gonna punch people in the back of the head. I've seen these videos. People are strong-arming people in wheelchairs. They're sucker punching old people in the back of the head. You could die from getting punched in the back of the head. That's why they ban it in boxing and MMA. People die from getting punched in the back of the head.
Also, I would like to note, too, if you're interested in multiculturalism, I would like to note that multiculturalism is not new. Multiculturalism has brought down many an empire from the inside.
Yeah, there's a healthy balance of multiculturalism, kind of like, Italian restaurants or Chinese restaurants, kind of like that. But when they try to have their own culture and expand within and eventually replace the old, that's where problems arise.
And I dare say even language. The Constitution was not written in any language but English. All right. Yes, you can find it in different language formats today now, but those are translations. And the ideas don't translate as well as they would in English. Similarly, if you read like a Japanese text, you're not going to get the full effect of a Japanese text without learning Japanese yourself and reading it in that language.
Absolutely.
You're not going to have the same values that text is trying to espouse. And so therefore, the effort to do away with English and to water it down and to mingle it and to have 100 different languages intermingling and everybody being okay with it is in effect actually destroying some of our liberties.
Yeah, it's not a good process at all. I don't like it. I agree with my co-host here on that.
Yeah, it's a subject I'm passionate about, but to not stray too far off topic, words are words. It's when you start putting violence to them, it adds a whole nother element.
Yeah. And so to go back to where the first concern we had, it just came to me. I want to say it before I forget. Have Bernie or Hillary denounced these protesters?
I think in vague terms, but not directly.
it could be argued they could do a better job at it.
Well, in fairness to them, there are two candidates, so it's hard to tell where Bernie supporters began and Hillary supporters end. So it is hard. You can definitely say they're coming from the left, but you can't necessarily say which one it's coming from.
Yeah.
And furthermore, I dare say the left works less on Hillary and Bernie's personalities and more on a hive mind.
Yeah, it's really frightening. I mean, I was just thinking, like, what's it going to be like, when you go to the polls, or when you go even to vote? Like, are you going to have like wear boxing gloves to vote now? Are you going to have to like box your way to the voting offices and public places?
Particularly worry about areas with high concentrations of Latinos, and I don't say that to evoke rage or be racist or anything, but there is going to be a tension.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been.
Imagine voting in Arizona.
Oh man! Imagine voting in California,
L.A.
L.A. That's where the worst footage I've seen. People this is where I've seen children pepper sprayed. That's where I saw the guy in a wheelchair getting strong armed in a wheelchair. Like how does these people sleep at night? Being comfortable with what they're doing. I don't know. I couldn't do it. I couldn't go up to some old man and punch him in the back of the head. I just couldn't do it. I don't see. Maybe I'm thinking.
Well, you have to understand. You have to get away from your white privilege and understand.
Yeah, definitely. I need to check my privilege. I'm speaking too much from it. The patriarchy is strong with me. I mean, it's just it's so strong.
You say it like it's a dark side.
Yeah. The patriarchy is strong with you.
Oh man, the left side of the force.
Well, is there anything else that you could think of we could add to this, or?
No, I think we pretty well covered it, but I just want to end on this note, though, that, our voices are small, but I would like for everybody to stop the violence. I know that sounds cheesy and in the left side of the force here, but
yeah.
But seriously, in all seriousness, there's no need for any of this.
Exactly. It should be the last resort. Violence should be a last resort. I mean, it shouldn't be the first thing you go to, especially political discussions. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, we ought to be free to express different ideas, and even if you perceive those ideas as threatening, violence should not be your first line.
I mean, you get spit in the face for having an opinion now. It's just, I'm sorry. I had to meditate a lot recently because of this. It's just overwhelming. It is just, I cannot. I'm like, are these actors I'm watching? Is this the Twilight Zone? Like I said earlier in the beginning of the show, it just does not seem real.
And some people think there is a paid presence there, but regardless, I would like to reiterate, let's stop hitting each other and start talking to each other.
Please.